Hello friends! Today I'm bringing you 2 DIY projects inspired by my unconditional love for tea. It is February now, and I think the only way I got through the January blues unscathed was due to drinking my favorite cup of tea every morning. So I was inspired to create a couple DIY projects for my fellow tea lovers out there to make your winter seasons a little brighter. First thing I wanted to show you guys is a chalkboard lettering project, and my new friends over at Chalkola actually sent me some of their products to show to you. So a huge thank you to Chalkola for providing me these markers to review. So the Chalkola chalk markers are actually, the first thing I noticed was that they had such a great pigment to them. I haven't used chalk markers since I was in grade 7 helping my teachers write a calendar on the blackboard. So it was a really pleasant surprise to see the opacity of these. I have seen really watery chalk markers used before, and I was a little bit worried that they would be on the watery side, but they actually have a lot of coverage and they stand out beautifully against the dark background of the chalkboard. These markers are the vintage colors in the regular 6mm thickness, and while I was worried a little bit that they would be too thick to do lettering with, they actually worked out really well and I was still able to create that faux calligraphy effect with double lining my downstrokes. And the chalkboard I'm using actually can also be found from Chalkola. It was originally a yellowish wood color, but I opted to paint it white because aesthetic. If there's anything to know about me, is that I love a good aesthetic. I really enjoyed using the chalk markers to just kind of brighten up our kitchen as well. We did just renovate our kitchen, and I was able to create a little chalk art to sit by where we keep our mugs, and that keeps our kitchen nice and happy and bright. And if you're looking to give chalkboard lettering a try, or you're just looking to try a new kind of art style, you can use the code CHALKOLA10 to get 10% off of your order. And that code will also be in the description box below, just so you don't miss it. And once again, thanks to my new friends at Chalkola for providing a discount code for all of you and for sending me these products that I really genuinely love. I wouldn't tell you guys I liked something unless it was actually true. Don't worry, I can vouch for these markers, they're pretty great. Here I'm just going over the lettering that I'd already done. There were a couple spaces where I had kind of filled it in a little bit too quickly, or I didn't shake the marker well enough, so I needed to go back through and add a little bit more coverage to those areas that were maybe a little bit more watery. Definitely make sure to shake the markers up really well when you use them, or else you will end up with a bit more of a watery effect. But if you use them as they're intended to be used, you're going to be just fine. I also like that they don't stain super easily. I went around a already drawn in brown border with the white marker, and it just had a little bit of brown on the edge, and all I had to do was draw a little bit on the other part of the chalkboard and wipe it clean, and it was completely fine. And still kept up that pure white color, which is really helpful on a chalkboard because you want that high contrast. And I'm just finishing up the pink lettering. I think that's my favorite color in the box, that beautiful coral pink. It caught my eyes as soon as I saw it, and I could not wait to try it. And with a couple little details, this chalkboard lettering is finished. It was really easy, and I slowed down the footage a little bit so you guys could follow along and see how I create that faux calligraphy effect using the chalk markers. Despite their thickness, I think it still turned out really wonderfully. And there's my favorite new mug from David's Tea that I love very dearly. So for my second project, I wanted to use the chalk markers to organize our tea drawer. So if you want to try this yourself, you'll need some chalkboard magnet paper. I got mine from Michael's. The container you want to use to trace, some chalk markers or some regular chalk if you're not able to get access to some chalk markers, and a pair of scissors. So I started this project by cutting out the magnet paper to a circle that fits on top of the David's Tea tea tin that I'm using to store our tea inside. My mom and I really love David's Tea, and since we renovated our kitchen, we wanted a better way to store our containers. And we have a pretty deep drawer to put them in, but we wanted to make sure that we could identify what kind of tea it was from the top, so we didn't have to pull out every container and check the sticker on the side or on the bottom. So I'm just cutting out one of these circles. I cut out a few more, but I didn't include that footage. And I wanted mine a little bit smaller than the tin so you could see the edge of the tin around it. I thought that gave it a nice clean look. And here I've zoomed in just a little bit to show you how I'm lettering on these circles. So I used a combination of printing and handwriting, mostly dependent on the name of the tea. If it was really long, then I wanted to use printing so I had more of a chance of fitting the whole name of the tea onto the label. It may also be a good idea to letter the kinds of tea onto the labels first and then cut them out, but I wanted to cut out the labels just so I knew for sure that they were going to fit, so I wasn't going to have to cut any of the chalk off. So I thought I'd recommend a couple favorite kinds of tea as I'm going through this lettering. Lately I've been still drinking the David's Tea Candy Cane Crush, which is my favorite of their Christmas teas. My mom and I stocked up on a whole bunch during their after Christmas sale, which was a great decision, and now we've got lots of pepperminty black tea to drink, and we're a couple of very happy people because of that. I've also really enjoyed their Sunshine Chai. It's got turmeric and cinnamon and cloves and all kinds of really, really delicious spices in it, along with a rooibos tea. I think I'm saying that right. I will leave the spelling on the screen right there. And as you can see, actually, the chalk markers wipe off really, really well with just a damp cloth or a damp piece of paper towel. If you misspell something or write something a little bit too big, you're going to be able to easily wipe it off and try again as if it were brand new. I found that they don't really leave residue unless you leave it on for a really long time. My chalkboard has a little bit of residue on it from a doodle that my mom did that I left there for a few days, but it's not noticeable enough, I think, to make a big difference. And there we go. There is a beautifully organized tea drawer with some favorite kinds of tea. And thank you guys once again for watching my DIY tea projects video. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to go check out Chalkola. You can find all their information in the description box below. Until next time, keep it magical. Bye guys!